Welcome to the Strongman Say podcast. Another episode. It's been a minute. There's been a lot going on. It's like competition season, so we're all coaching all on the weekends. Louie's been traveling the world after filming everybody for the series, so he's been blowing his dollars on new cameras and holidays. Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
How was your trip?
It was very good. I've come back to many new cameras.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah, there's about 17 cameras filming us right now. So excited to be back though, because it's been a little minute, and we have probably like two big exciting things, which I mean, I know we've missed a little bit of time. If you haven't watched the Anabolic episode with Tim and Connor, worth having a listen because it's quite interesting. Probably not a bad time to take a little bit of time because we got the middleweight series recap done, and not a whole heap in Oz and in general happens until basically in a fortnight's time, right? So we've got ASM coming in hot and ASW.
Yeah, we had Battle in the Bay.
Yeah, Expo. Yeah, at the Expo. What do you think? Because I ran it, so I'm curious to know outside. Like, rinse me if you like. I can take it because I give it. How do you think it ran? What do you think of the competition? How do you think about having Strongman and Expo and stuff again?
Strongman and Expo is like, that's the peak for me, especially like a fitness expo.
Yeah.
Like that just works.
Yeah.
Everyone's already there to watch some sort of fitness, sport, bodybuilding, powerlifting.
It's our crowd. It's our people. And
Yes.
you're in front of those people. And those people are more likely to end up doing the thing and being part of the community.
Yeah, I think having the contrast of like what the Arnold's was having like the pros.
Yeah.
And just how big that expo was.
Yeah.
Makes it kind of hard because it feels quiet when it's not
the same.
quiet.
Yeah, but it's not the same as the Arnold's.
No, when the pros did like their 3 events each day spread out, like you could not see.
No.
We also had grandstands either side of
And
like,
also the Expo was just a lot bigger. Arnold's huge.
so that was good. The events were good. It was a lot of moving, a lot of cardio, a lot of
I'll never
running.
do Hercules holding a comp again though. That's one thing that I will say. It's just nightmare.
It looks great.
It looks cool. Yeah, it's hard to. I really felt for the loaders, and I feel for some of the athletes and stuff like that. But like, we don't really have a choice in that situation not to be like relatively cut and dry.
Yep.
But it's very hard for those guys lowering those to get the timing right and to like. And it's honestly, when they got heavy to the opens, man, it's really heavy. Do you see the boys sweating?
Yeah.
Like it's tough. So I think that's a tough one. Maybe there's a better way to do it in competition. But apart from that, like, yeah.
That works its way up the whole way though.
Yeah.
Like worlds have a Hercules hold,
Yeah.
and everyone says that like when that goes from like 0 to 100.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like when it lets go, it's like bang.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's just part of the event.
It is, yeah, and you have to be ready for that kind of like maybe uneven like release kind of thing too, which is probably the biggest one that we had trouble with.
No, like it had a fun feel to it. I feel like 2 MCs work well and bounce off each other well, and like that was a bit of fun, and like the events were light enough that people would run back and forth
and had like a good opportunity to do the thing. Do you know what I mean as well? Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was great. I mean, it was my birthday weekend, so I spent it working, like going up to Melbourne on the Friday, setting up, and then I went home and did my check-ins after my family dinner, birthday dinner, and then rocked up and ran it on the Saturday and stuff. But honestly, I had a ball doing it. Like it was just good to be part of like the expo. I definitely prefer rocking up and competing. At an event like that, I've definitely decided that. Yeah. But it is good to be able to be in a position to be able to run like a good comp. And big shout out to Mace, because like if he didn't have that truck, like that would have been so much worse. Like he rocked up, JJ and Mace rocked up with that truck, and you know the expo provides all the flooring and the gates and stuff like that. Yep. So it's really not too bad to set up too, which was kind of nice.
Yeah, the truck at least creates like a stage backdrop.
The truck is like. Because I know the other year they had the different federation, AAC, running it, right? And I think looking at that and just firstly having like the backdrop of the truck with the screens and stuff, the level of professionalism is 5 times the amount, right? Like it just looks so much more professional. So
otherwise you can't see anything. In the crowd.
Yeah, in the crowd. Yeah, for sure. It just looks good with the banners and stuff. So that was fantastic. So yeah, look, it was great. It was a good weekend. I feel like the loads were, I made the mistake. I'll say we, but I made the mistake of making it pretty heavy last year. Yeah. We didn't have the same sort of uptake. We just made it a little bit lighter this year and more maybe appealing.
Yep.
And obviously, like, more achievable. A few people got heaps of reps. People could come in and get 4 or 5 reps, and the Trump thing is definitely a great way to go, I think, for future competitions, because it makes it accessible to more people. And to be honest, like as a promoter also, running a comp with 30 people or 60 people costs the same amount. It's just like one you get in debt for and one you make a little bit of money on. And it's not fucking lots of money. So it's like, it's nice when you actually like come away with, I mean, I could think of easier ways to make $1,000, feet pics for one. But it is good to be able to like run a big competition and have like a more people in there, because it creates a bit of vibe too.
Yeah, like the Samoan women come over.
Yeah, that was so fun. The crowd loved them too. I think, what are your thoughts in terms of like just seeing more strongman, strongwoman at those expos? Because Sydney's coming up. Do they have a comp at that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
I don't know what that space has now become.
It's 3 days, but it'd be very interesting to see like whether. I like meat stock, the stages, like we get a lot of space and stuff, but I'd be very interested and I'd be very keen to see like a good relationship with the expo and see something happen there where like maybe some of those title series merge over back to like where they probably belong.
Much, much better in terms of like bigger crowd. And also has the potential, it's in Melbourne. It's in South Bank. You're not going to fucking Bendigo or Toowoomba.
Yeah, Melbourne or Sydney, either either.
Yeah.
Great.
And then down the line, getting pros back, which would be like, that would be the ultimate goal somehow.
Yep. Agreed.
Obviously, they don't go anywhere without money.
Bring strongman to the people, you know?
But like have the big pros come over or have like a Matt Rag come across from New Zealand. Try and
like
get Eddie involved.
Even the Giants Live guys, you know what I mean? Like some of those guys and some of our Australia's strongest guys getting a chance to actually showcase their abilities next to those guys, which we don't get a lot of opportunity to now as well.
So if that came back and we had like bigger shows and then like, you know, Coco did like a Beast of Burden.
Yes.
Like a pro show type thing. Like incorporate that in the mix. Have the big boys come out, do one event, 2 hour breaks. Just replicate what worked.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas, if you could get Eddie and Rag and the top Australian guys, like they did the interactive demo thing on day 3.
Yes.
Mac and
Josh pulled 400 on a whim. Mac hit a 190 stone to shoulder for 2 reps. It's fucking large.
It's very big.
Yeah, and nice, good crowd involvement. Like everyone's getting up and about for it. And you see the big guys. Do you know what I mean? You see Australia's strongest men out there, you know, with a bit of...
The one thing missing from that, which would have done really well, is to have a strong woman.
Yes. Yeah.
Didn't matter who it was, but there's a lot of women in the crowd. Like, there's a lot of people that still do it. Like having one woman do that.
Yeah, do something.
Yeah.
Totally agree. And I think, you know what, we say this all the time as weight class athletes, like we love being weight class athletes, but the reality is like there's just something larger than life than the open men and women doing their thing. That's what strongman is. Yeah. That's what strongwoman is. Like, you know, there's not a lot of weight class athletes here pulling 400 on a Sunday, you know, doing an interactive session or throwing a 190 stone to shoulder. Do you know what I mean? Like weight is weight.
Yeah.
Like, it's just much more impressive. So
I don't mean have like an under 64 woman.
No, I know that.
Not do something. I mean like something big and impressive.
Yeah, like a Katie doing an axle or an overhead or something like that.
Yeah, like Ellie could come and have a crack at like, she's damn near hit like the world record stone.
Yes. Yeah. So
something like that where like all the men in the crowd go, I can't do that. I can't do half of that.
Yeah. Something that's wildly impressive. Speaking of wildly impressive, ASM is coming up, which we'll sort of beeline for. Is there anything else in between? Not really. There's a few bits and pieces, I think.
Beast of Burdens this weekend.
Yeah.
I think.
Cool. And then you've got Natty's coming up, which is actually going to be huge as well.
Yep, which is the weekend after.
Yeah, we'll
ASM,
talk about that after ASM. ASW lightweight series, which we've already covered, and the Masters next weekend?
No, weekend after.
Weekend after.
It might be next weekend.
I think it's next
weekend after.
This weekend is...
Beast.
No. This weekend, and this weekend is APL for us, and then the weekend after is ASM.
Okay.
It's the 9th, isn't it?
Yeah, 9th till the 11th.
I feel like we should probably both know that.
Yeah, so that's coming up.
You should know that. You'll be there too.
Yeah, we'll all be there.
Yeah.
We're all at every comp. Anyway, it's coming up pretty soon. It'll be interesting how the format goes. Obviously, the lightweight series being introduced there. I didn't get the memo early enough, which means I booked flights to get back for Mother's Day, which I now have broken my wife's heart and said I'm not going to be home for Mother's Day because I was supposed to leave late Saturday night. But the men and women will be late night. The lightweight series will run during the day.
Yes, which means stock doesn't open until, 11 or 12?
12-ish, which means we're in for some late nights and the guys will be in for, those heavyweight guys kind of like need to go to bed by 8:30, 9. It's hard being awake, like you're carrying a lot of muscle around all day, I think they start to get a bit fatigued and nappy. So they might have to have like an afternoon nap or something.
I think they will.
Yeah.
I think you'll see them rock up till very late.
No, and like that's probably one thing that like is my least favorite thing about the meat stock is like they ask athletes to get there 4 hours before.
Yep.
It's just so fucking long to like sit there before competing and like just be in that environment,
Yeah.
So hopefully there's some allowance there that I have to get in there for the lightweight series and stuff or get in early and whatever. But ASM predictions, what everybody wants to know. I think there's 3 standouts. Obviously there's a little bit of, there's been a little bit of like eyes on the ASM field because we've had like BJ was having a bit of an issue with his back, which was just very temperamental, very hard to manage. So we basically pulled him right back and he's just done a 3-week prep essentially. So we just pulled it right back, got some scans, made sure nothing was at risk. And then go, because he's got long standing from adolescence, some like back issues and stuff like that, which have played a part. So quite hard to manage. And then we've got Josh, who has done a pulley injury, some background on, so pulley system in your fingers. He did it loading the monster dumbbell onto the scale to check the weight when he broke the record.
Of all the things.
Yep, just picking up the dumbbell to put it on the actual scale. There's a bit of a background. It's basically 8 weeks of no using that finger and in a splint. The risk of it is a full-blown rupture or a detachment needing surgery and maybe 6 months of recovery. So with the goal of winning OSG, that means he's out. So very annoying. Shit happens. So he was obviously everyone's kind of like favourite, like eyes on him in terms of consistency across the board.
Yeah.
And I probably would have, I know you might not have, but I definitely had him picked for number 1. I think it would have been hard to beat.
Yeah.
What are your predictions with the current lineup?
Well, I would have picked, and like I probably need to look back through the guys because a lot of them are getting a lot better, but I feel like the top 4 would have started to run away.
I definitely think
by the end
4.
of comp, which is the BJ, Mac, Ryan.
Yeah.
And then if Josh was doing it, that would have been the top 4.
Yeah.
Because Jordan is not. Unless Jordan wants to just
jump on in, son.
Jump in.
Not on holidays anymore.
Jumped into WA and just jump back into ASM. That'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah, he won't though.
No, he definitely won't. But he would do well.
He'd do all right, yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's like probably merit in terms of if there's a year that you're going to skip, it's the year where it's like
things that you don't really need to train.
Yeah, and probably like I think for him it's like a year where it's probably a harder year. Do you know what I mean? Like his strengths are probably a little bit outside of these strengths. Like they're like not in his comfortable zone. Do you know what I mean? And there's a lot of guys who are definitely going to get points where you'd have a hard time catching them, I think.
Yep.
But then there's obviously still events where you'd fucking crush. So a tough one. I think if he jumped in, he'd still have a hard time with those events in a short period of time, but he would do it fine. Do you know what I mean? But I don't think I still wouldn't put him in the top 3 regardless, to be honest, with those events. Sorry, Jordan, but like they're tough events. Do you know what I mean? Like he's such a strong, static guy and he's very, very fast, but there's like no frame farmers. Do you know what I mean? It's not like no sprinter yoke. Do you know what I mean? It's a different kind of speed. It's like max carry, which is like, fine. Stones. We've seen him have struggle on stones year after year on that last run. Behind the neck press, monster dumbbell, fine, but probably still not, beating a Jono, Josh, BJ in that 130, 140 mark. So I still think he would have a hard time with those events compared to what his strengths are, which are like fast moving, heavy moving. You know what I mean? Like he's fast, explosive, and he's strong as fuck. You know what I mean? But there's no log to grind out and lean back. There's no like max axle to hang back or lean back. You know what I mean? Like different strengths, different event. Probably wouldn't see him in the top 3 anyway.
No, I think power stairs just favors the taller guys.
Yep.
And then sandbag to shoulder and stuff, probably a really good one. Yeah,
really good one. You know what I mean? Like there's events, don't get me wrong, events where you do really well.
Yeah.
But I still don't see him in the top 3 with those particular events. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it was his year anyway. Don't know whether that influenced the choice, but you know, if you're trying to think about what you want to do for the year, where your time and investment into training is going to go, and where the payout's going to be or payoff's going to be, if you look at those events and go, well, I'm not going to win that anyway, do you sacrifice 12 weeks of training for it when you've got other fish to fry? Maybe not.
Yeah.
You know, regardless. Anyway, the people that are competing, we've got your top 4 without Josh. So you've got your top 3, which you've said as in no particular order, Ryan, BJ, Mac.
Yep.
How do you order them? How do you see it going?
Out of those 3, I would have to back Ryan.
Yes.
Which isn't just biased.
No, it's not biased.
It's definitely biased, but definitely has a very, very good shot of it.
Yep.
Mac and BJ. It's a hard one. It's like looking at like opposite
2 different
strengths
athletes.
and weaknesses almost in a way. Like one's going to like be at the top of one half of the events. The other one's going to not be quite there or the opposite. So yeah, it's just going to come down to like who does best at their worst, which is strongman, right?
I agree.
But probably favoring BJ on those events.
I
haven't seen a lot of Mac's training.
No,
I've seen snippets.
He's always good and he always brings it on a comp day, so it's hard to say.
Yep.
But I see Ryan winning, like we discussed, I see Ryan winning probably 4 events. You know, I see BJ winning 3 or 4 events.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so that leaves the other 4 who sneaks in between those guys.
Yep.
And that'll be someone like Mac. And then how consistent is Mac across the 8 events?
Yep.
And how many points do the other guys drop on those other events?
And then you've still got the next chunk of like Jono, Coco, Bradman, Jared. I'm trying to think who would be in that sort of like next tier that'll come up in between them.
Yep. Yeah.
And steal points.
All in that top 10 will be in there to steal points, in there to grab points. Like Bradman will do well on like the deadlift, for example. He'll still go over 200 on the behind the neck press.
Yep.
He'll still go over like probably off the mark with a dumbbell, but probably still 100-ish, 100 over. I can speak about him because I know where he's at. You know what I mean? But he'll do pretty well across the board. Do you know what I mean? So he'll be reasonable in that top 10 group, maybe sneaking up a little bit higher this year as well, I think would be the goal. But it just depends on how everyone goes on. You're right. Like their worst events or their bad events, how do they go? The hang changes things dramatically like we saw in middleweight series. I go BJ, Ryan, Mac. I think if BJ comes in tight, his bad events aren't real bad here. Like the carry the other year, he showed that he can do the carry as well as anybody because his moving stuff's come up a heap. So the front carry is pretty good for him. The safe carry should be fine. You know, he beat or just behind Jordan, came second to Jordan in the Zercher yoke and stuff like that from a speed perspective. You've got sandbag to shoulder, which is going to be good for him. He's got behind the neck press and dumbbell probably relatively covered up the top. And a deadlift probably right up there at the top too. So it'll just be interesting to see how he goes with like the hang, but like kind of like you. Oh, I guess you lost the hang though, didn't you? So probably not a good example. I was like, his moving's not great, but his grip, he does like a lot of grip work. Do you know what I mean? So like maybe okay. Just depends on how many points he loses there, where like a Ryan's going to fucking smash that hang. So it depends where you shake out in that wash. So yeah, I think there's a lot of variables there to go. Honestly, I think it might come down to how many points you lose during the hang.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that might be like it's 2 points between and there's 15 guys and there's 13 points on the hang going, like that's a fuck.
Yep.
ASW?
I would assume that there's a top 4 because I haven't seen a lot of the other women's training.
Yeah.
Which would be like Katie, Ellie, Liz, Alira.
Yeah.
That would be my guess. Like they would start to pull away towards the end.
Totally agree. Do you think Katie's untouchable in that group or do you think it's still pretty close?
I don't think anyone's untouchable.
Yeah.
It's like even if you've got something in the bag, like say dumbbell or something, you've still got to go do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can't go out and be like,
get complacent.
even like I warm up on dumbbell and I get a bit lazy in warm-ups and I miss it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, shit, okay. And then I snap and I hit it. And then in training, I go up 20 kilos heavier.
Yeah.
But in warm-ups, I missed it. So like if you walk out and do that on the day.
So many Flintstone press and dumbbell press because they're like precision events.
Yep.
I saw fucking 582s miss their openers.
Yep.
And I saw so many people have to take their opening Flintstone press for multiple attempps.
And they left it on that.
Some of them never passed it and some of them just left it after their opener.
Yep.
So it took them 2 minutes to get their opener.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like different events, different environments. Do you know what I mean? So many variables. Knees weak, arms are heavy, mum spaghetti, like dumbbell and like behind the neck press, not good ones, you know.
A lot of pressure, but like the lever deadlift, looking off middleweights, it wasn't clear cut. The strong deadlifters didn't always win.
Yeah, not to the same degree of difference that you would expect, you know.
No, there was either the sides weren't calibrated as well as they should have been.
Had an argument about this, but that's fine. I've already been through this.
So we'll sort of figure that out for ASM. But yeah, it wasn't so clear cut. There was people that like were clearly 30 kilos down on someone else's conventional deadlift, but they tied on reps. So like it was a weird sort of equalizer in that sense. Like James Lation.
Yes.
He got 8 reps, I think, and I got 10.
And it's like there's an 80 kilo difference in your deadlifts. Not 80, but
not
like
80,
there's a difference.
Yeah, but then so I think he got that and I think Harley got 9 or something.
Yeah.
And especially between those two, like Harley's this bigger deadlifter than I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like with a suit, without a suit.
I said this beforehand and I said like, as the deadlift event goes, like that would even the playing field with me for sure. Like I would not get the same and then a head start or repetitions than I would on everyone else in something like a deadlift for reps versus like a car deadlift for reps in that particular setup. Like it changes your strengths, weaknesses, and exposes some stuff, you know?
Yeah, so that changes it a lot. And then you've got big height difference between like Ellie and Katie.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know how that affects the lever.
Yeah.
In terms of like how far that's got to travel.
Yeah. Super interesting. It should be interesting. Is your order very much similar to that? So like Katie, Ellie, Liz, put Leah in there. Yeah, I
probably would
there.
be. Yeah.
I think Liz looks like she's on fire at the moment. Said that after middleweight series. Her mentality and her like focus at the moment just seems to be on. You know what I mean? Like, and it's good. Like, not just as a coach, but as an athlete. You know, like the respect that you have when you just see someone dialed in. Like they rock up to a comp, and I've had comps where I haven't been. Do you know what I mean? Like. But like when you see and you go to a competition, you see someone's just like, they're on, like they're in it and they're on and they're just like there to work. Like you're like fucking in the zone. You know what I mean? Like that's fucking such a nice spot to be in. Like that's how we do it. It's like chasing, it's like competing. But like I think at this point, it's like you almost chase that like that feeling or like that day where you just like, you're in that zone, you're in that flow, like you're just like doing your thing. Those days, like, that feeling is better than winning to me. Do you know what I mean? Like getting that vibe, even with training, like when you get those sweet spots, it's like, that's where it is, you know?
Yeah. I feel like the weekend goes much slower. Yeah. And you get to take a lot more in.
Yeah, sure.
I feel like when you're stressed, like the weekend just goes,
yeah.
And then like, fuck, what happened? And you just forget so many things or you don't see anything around you.
Yeah, it's kind of blotted out. I think that's like that sweet spot where you're like locked in. It's such a fucking nice, as an athlete, that's where the best work happens. That's where the magic happens, you know. I concur. I think that's where I'd put those guys, girls, in terms of the list and like where I'll see the placing. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But I do think there's probably, I feel like previous years maybe it was like a little less cut, you know what I mean? Like I feel like we had some, maybe like, we've had Nicole in the women's, which obviously like we're like, oh, cool. But I feel like we had a little bit tighter play there, but I feel like we've definitely, it's still interesting at the top, but I feel like we're starting to really see like a little bit of a cream of the crop rising over the last few years of competition to where we know kind of like where those 3 or 4 are in the mix, and those like probably top 5 are going to be pretty consistently now.
Yeah.
World's Strongest Man is coming up. Oh, before we do World's Strongest Man, Naturally Aspirated is coming up. I think we talked a little about this, how good it is to see the natural strongman sort of take off as much as it has. Over 100 athletes, 2-day competition next weekend. That's bigger than like most fucking competitions here now.
Yep.
You know, that's a huge weekend. Thoughts, excited, events and stuff like that. Do you see why there's the appeal there or the demand for such a big amount of like lifters or competitors there?
Yeah, I completely understand why. Like we've spoken about that before, and just more people are willing to jump on it with that extra tick of like, okay, this seems like more fair.
Yeah.
Even though it's not a clear cut, like black and white tick, like there's still nuance in that. And also the same as there's heaps of people that are natural that are doing ASA, and everything else.
Yeah.
It's not as clear cut.
And doing really well too.
Just because you say it's that doesn't mean that that's been the clear divide.
Yeah.
But it does work well for a lot of people in that sense. It's like an extra, what's the word? Like it's just extra incentive, I guess. It's something else saying it. But the name of the comp, I'd love for it to change. I don't think naturally. It's just long. It doesn't roll off the tongue well. But with the amount of people doing it, with the right people running it, promoting it, or like giving it love, could branch off into states and a nationals.
I'd love to see
and
that
do
too.
what it does in the UK. Because the UK, you've got Scotland, you've got Ireland, you've got then you've got UK, then you've got Worlds, then they have so many pockets of that. And if you've got 100 and something people turning up to essentially what is our national naturals, then the next step would be go down from that.
100%. And the comp's achievable. The loads are very achievable. Do you know what I mean? Same sort of deal. Achievable, challenging.
Similar to Worlds, they cut the weight back a little bit off like the OSG and stuff like that. They increase the time. Or they change it in a way that it is a bit more fitness. Well, it's more fitness for the people that are strong enough.
Yes.
Like the yoke sandbags, 90 seconds. Disgusting.
Yeah, it's a long time to do yoke and sandbags.
10 meters up, 10 meters back with a yoke, then you do it with a sandbag, and you have 90 seconds of that. It's horrible.
Horrible.
So for people that aren't, if you're not quite strong enough, you just do one of each.
It's fine.
Done. If you're really strong, that's
it's
a lot of work.
Yeah, I agree.
But that makes it interesting to watch. So the events are fun.
Yeah, events are fun.
No, the deadlift is fun. Like that's the Kratos bar. On wagon wheels.
I feel like the Kratos bag on wagon wheels is a ridiculous event, but
I didn't realize it was until like 2
for
weeks
anyone
ago.
under heavyweights, they actually have to pull a distance. Like unless you're 6 foot plus, like you're gonna have those like the females, and there's an under 57 female category, obviously in natties as well. You're gonna have those light females just like
rolling it above their knees and just.
I just always think that's a fucking interesting. Like
I could do that.
Drop the
from because what is it?
You love
15 inches.
Yeah, it's like 15 or 16 inches with a lot of whip in that Kratos bar. Like
I'm thinking how high a silver dollar gets.
Yeah, you should be able to get your knees straight under it and ramp.
I think I could if it got heavy enough.
Close.
So that's a very different lift to like
Yeah, it is. So and I've seen that strategy and like would promote that strategy to some people, you know, depending on how they pull. So
they got that. Max Stone.
Yep. Fun. Log for reps.
Max
log
Stone could technically be the national natural stone records.
Would be. Yep. They could probably just start their own records too, like natty records, because they do that overseas.
Yeah, they do that. They do that in Worlds too. Like there's probably people competing at this comp that don't know that there's natural world records.
Yeah, probably.
Like I think the under 90s one's like 180 or 190, and then like Chris is coming over from New Zealand who can probably beat that.
Yeah. It's I think it's great. I think like we talked about this. I can't remember. Did we talk about this on the podcast?
Yeah.
How back in our day, like natural powerlifting was like so uncool. Was that our last podcast? Yeah. Did we talk about that on our last podcast? Yeah. Or was that just in person? It just boils into one.
I can't remember.
Yeah, but like natural powerlifting was just like not cool at all when we started. Like that was not a thing to do. It was just like a certain demographic and like Melbourne Uni and whatever PA And it was like Brandon Lilly with the stakes and the fucking knee wraps and the monos and like that was the cool thing. And now it's just like completely flipped, you know. And like you could probably see that coming with like Strongman too. Like UKNS do a great job over there. Like they're great comps. Like live feed was good. Like very cool. So that's exciting. Exciting for the sport. I think it's a great thing for the sport. I think it's great for people to have options.
Yeah, I think that would just slowly need to branch out
and
have like a New South, a Vic, a South Australia, like have different chapters.
And it's worth noting that like half the people on the fucking podium at like the title series are natural too. Do you know what I mean? Like those half the people competing at our nationals are natty.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's probably just like if you're going towards like a world's like OSG level and stuff like that, like you just see that skew a lot. Do you know what I mean? Like it becomes like 70-30 or 60-40 and it's always weight class dependent too, but you see it's like to 95-5, you know?
Yeah. I think if you had the naturals in Australia and had prize money or like a lead up from states into nationals, everyone would sit there and look at the competitor list and be like, fuck, why is that person doing it? They're not. And it's like, no, they are, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Like you can't escape them.
A lot. I mean, same with powerlifting.
You might look at the top 5 and be like, I can get away from them because they're probably taking stuff. And it's like, those 5 might do the naturals because they are natural and you don't have it easy now.
21-year-old Bradman Natty was pulling 350 and competing at ASM, you know, at 21.
Yeah.
Hadn't touched a drug, you know, like that's fucking strong.
Yeah.
Like people go, oh, bro, he's 21, he's pulling 350. It's like, yeah, I know. It's fucked. World's Strongest Man controversy. We're not going to weigh in too much. We feel like there's a million YouTube channels that you can go weigh in on this. But we have World's Strongest Man coming up. What did you think about let's start with the controversy. What did you think? What are your thoughts, feelings, opinions? Did it just skate past you?
No, I think it's the same thing that's with OSG and everything else. Like athletes just want a certain amount of like respect or to be told things on time.
Yeah.
It was like the payout, 90
like
days or something. Yeah.
At least I get a payout. At least I get a payout.
I think the very, very bottom guys get enough of a payout to kind of cover some small expenses.
Yeah.
I think if they take one person or friend with them and pay for their flights to come help with them, it barely covers that.
Yeah.
So they don't really get paid much. No, it's not really controversial. I think it's controversial that someone spoke up.
Yeah.
So honestly, like I think that Mitch just stood up.
But everybody's talking about it anyway.
Yeah. Everyone was talking about it with each other.
Yeah.
Someone just publicly went, here it is, and put it on like YouTube. They make small changes, which tends to be the case when you kick up a stink. Like
appease the people.
Yeah, it happens all the time. Everyone's like, oh, I wish you'd just like said that directly. And it's like, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Because that gets said a lot.
Yeah.
Then you say something publicly and then change happens.
Yeah.
So
true. Not wrong.
Which is the same as like anywhere. So, which is good.
And you know what? Show me a fucking federation where someone likes it and doesn't complain about it because I haven't seen one. You know what I mean? There's always something, man. Like, it's the nature of the beast. Like, you have competitors who want more for fucking less. You know what I mean? And like, you've got promoters or like federation leaders who are trying to run competitions and trying to make it profitable out of sports that no one gives a fuck about.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? And like, everyone thinks they're getting this much and they're getting this much and they're thinking they need to be doing this much and the athletes want them to be doing this much. And like, there's just like this, like, it's like the employer-employee discord. It's the same thing. Like, I've never really, like never heard a fucking federation not be complained about, powerlifting or strongman.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Federation leaders, never heard one that hasn't been complained about. Maybe I never heard of, like when Aaron was running Arnold's, it's probably like one of the ones that like everyone probably pretty much fucking liked.
Yep.
But sometimes it was still a shambles, like the qualifications and systems and how you got to Arnold's was always a fucking bit of like a gunsling. Do you know what I mean? Like it was just wasn't like super organized sometimes. Overseas, do you know what I mean? Like OSG, you want a fucking giant convention center. Do you know what I mean? But like you're gonna have to have 400 people. Do you know what I mean? Like that comes at a cost. Like the personal experience gets lost. Do you know what I mean? Like there's always like pros and cons to different structures, and I don't know whether anyone gets it right. I don't know any promoters that don't get, or like federations that don't have complaints, you know, including World's Strongest Man. Like,
no, I think it's good.
Yeah.
I get people just being like, oh, you shouldn't complain. You complain if
you're allowed to complain.
Yeah, I think both sides can complain and debate
Yeah.
and try to find some middle ground constantly.
Yeah.
Which is
It's how
exhausting.
things get better, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's how it gets worked through, as long as it doesn't end up personal on either side. As long
I just think people want to get heard.
Yeah.
It's half the time, right? It's like you're not listening to us.
Yeah. So I think as long as it doesn't end up personal, then that's just a part of every sport.
Yeah. We use this analogy all the time, but people bitch about the AFL all the fucking time.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? It's just bigger and it's run by a fucking bunch of people instead of like usually one or two people. Do you know what I mean? So, but like people complain about sport, the AFL, how they're running it, the new rules, blah, blah, blah. Like there's literally primetime TV shows dedicated to giving shit to the athletes and the fucking sport and the AFL itself, you know? But in our sport, people go, oh, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't commentate on an athlete. Like,
you can't say they're shit at an event.
Like it's a sport. Yeah, it's a sport. Like sport with commentary. They go hand in hand. Like talk about whatever we want.
So no, Worlds is like, I don't think it's that controversial. The exciting thing for me was just like the change in structure.
Yeah.
Like no dumb stone off.
Yes, yeah. That's definitely a big plus. Still 5 and 5, right? Like four. I think there's still a knockout event though, just not the stone off.
No.
Is it five events for the first heats? Is it?
Yep.
Just points.
5 and 5, and then they're doing what?
I thought they. You know what? 4 and 5.
You know what SCL did with the scoring from like qualifiers to finals. So you take the top 10, you score them as though it was just top 10 from the heats,
against each other.
And then whoever wins goes into finals with 10 points.
Yeah.
And whoever comes 10th goes in with 1 point.
Yes.
So they're doing that. So the heats are worth an event.
Yep.
It's not like OSG where they recalibrate every event and you get those points.
Yeah.
So that stops people in the heats going, oh, someone just got 4 reps, I'll get 5 in my heat.
Yeah.
And kind of cruise. So the top guys.
Yeah.
So like Mitch can't do 4 reps on a deadlift if someone in his heat does 3 because and then come into the finals.
That's good. I like that. That's fun. Yeah.
So they'll have to watch, and they're going to have to change because if they go heat 1 every single time for the first event,
everyone will know what they're doing.
Everyone will know what they're doing. So they're going to have to swap the heats around, ideally.
Yeah.
But they're going to be watching other heats.
Yeah.
Like Mitch is going to have to watch the other top deadlifters
in
the other heats to go, what are they getting?
Points. Interesting.
Or he's going to have to go first and like push it.
Yeah. A bit of feedback on the loads being like moderate for the day one. My thing is like it's World's Strongest Man. It's 10 events. Like it's always been a bit lighter. It's not the Arnold's. It's not Strongest Man on Earth. There's a reason why it's a bit lighter. There's a lot of events. You got the guys in the finals and stuff like that. And it's a big cohort in the heats. Do you know what I mean? Like you want people to be able to do it. So it's like a 350 deadlift for reps.
Our sport's not
150
maxes.
Sandbags. No, our sport's like this is.
And then Brian Shaw makes a comp that has like what 4 or 5 max events out of 8, and everyone's like, oh, someone's going to break. That's not good. And it's like, that's what you all asked for. That's what every intermediate asked for.
Yeah.
Every like advanced, like top level athletes, like, no, I don't want a whole bunch of max events.
Well, the Strongest
like,
Man is notoriously like lighter, lots of moving, like, and a bit of variability in the events, which is interesting, like, because you're not going to do 10 events that are fucking wildly heavy, and these guys also have other comps they're doing too. So I think it's I like them. I think they're good. I think they're still challenging loads. You know what I mean? Like, I think the Sandbags is full 20 meters, 150. Like, this work. I think cool. I think great. I'm pretty keen.
Yeah. It's heavy enough.
It's fucking plenty heavy enough.
They got like a max.
Because the strong guys will have to do reps. You know what I mean? Like, they'll just have to do reps on stuff, you know? Yeah. Or go fast and hard.
No, I like the watch it trickle down into everyone else's comps, because you know how everything becomes a trend.
Yeah.
So like behind the neck press. Obviously that's a fucking trend at the moment.
Yeah, I'm a bit over that.
That's super hot. Monster Dumbbell was kind of last year, and we've kind of copped the back end of Monster Dumbbell.
Yeah.
Where in Australia we're like behind the news a little bit by 3 months. So we've still got Monster Dumbbell.
We were ahead on the behind the neck jerk though.
Yeah. Somehow.
Yeah. Call that early.
Whereas I think from there we'll see different events like the 18-inch pulls. Like that might start to come back a little bit, or something different would.
Sucks. It's hard.
So it'll be interesting. But they also, Europe's did the overhead event that was like 2 reps on each thing.
Yeah.
On 4 implements. So you have to do 8 total.
Yes.
Worlds is doing that as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So watch that probably be the next thing.
Yeah. And very gassy too.
Yeah, that'll be.
Because the loads, that's once again, like people are like, oh, the loads are light for the overhead press. It's 8 reps. Like, let's work. Like,
most of the big guys don't do
clean
8 reps.
Yeah, you got to clean it each time. Like, that's a lot of work. So I think it'd be super interesting.
Give someone like sets of 8 on just log or deadlifts in a program and they'll complain.
Yes.
You're like, why is there so many reps?
Yeah.
And it's like they have to go do it in a comp now.
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
If you don't do 8 reps, like you don't finish.
With different techniques, with different cleans, with like, you know, like depending on the order and stuff like that too. Like a monster dumbbell clean isn't too taxing, but if you're on your 4th implement and you're hitting your 7th rep and you got a 150 axle clean and press, like, whew, you know, like that might be really hard.
I think they got 140 for the barbell.
Yeah.
Which is the second event.
Yeah.
And I just want to watch like Lucas try to snatch it.
Yeah.
Or someone just try to, like someone just pop out like a power snatch.
Yeah. Just
like a touch and go power snatch for 2.
Fucking close at 140, you know. Lucas would be fun.
Yeah, I think Evan Singleton's was just like muscle.
Yeah, 100%. Which, I mean, like, that's good. Like, if some of the guys are fucking fast. Exactly. It's a race, but then you'll also see, like, you might see guys slam through that barbell, slam through like a monster dumbbell, and then have a lot of trouble on another event, you know, like have some issues. So I think that'll be interesting as well.
Be great. I'll be refreshing my Strength Archives results page throughout the week to watch the comp.
Get ready to go.
Yeah, because that's as good as you get.
Yeah, I mean, that was the other controversy was like, get rid of the TV show. They're saying they get 14 million views or something like that in the special. I think Mitch was saying he doesn't even like the finished product and that like it's...
I heard somewhere that like there was like a 50-year contract that was signed.
Oh, really?
Like ages ago.
Yeah, it's like, bro, it's not going to change.
Yeah, like I just don't think it's at the end of like the contract that was signed.
Yeah.
But the annoying thing is you don't get to see everyone go.
No. Yeah.
Even on the finished product, you don't get to see every single person.
Yeah, which would be kind of nice.
Do you remember the year? I don't remember what year it was, but it was in like the Philippines or somewhere random. And there was this random woman just like live streaming her off her Instagram.
I remember this.
At Worlds. Yeah. It was so good. And it just got shared around everywhere. Yeah. Like everyone's like followed. And it's just some random chick with like 200 followers.
I remember it happened, I think last year or the year before as well. There was some American guy who was putting every event on his story and everyone was just looking at his story.
Yeah, so she got going for like ages and obviously they eventually like found her in the crowd and was like, turn it off.
Yeah.
And I think last year it was on the beach at Myrtle Beach and apparently they have like cameras that like check the surf.
Oh, yeah.
And the beach, like just their cameras that are set up for
people
safety.
were just watching it.
And apparently some people could use those cameras and they could kind of see it.
People are very
between that and like the step ladders in the crowd, like the desperation to find out.
I mean, they say like, oh, you're not going to know. You find out a week afterwards. Do you know what I mean? Like generally it's on Instagram, like World's Strongest Fan and stuff post it now and stuff as well. I think he gets the call.
I'm hoping someone's just got like a live stream somewhere.
I mean, you get to watch the points and stuff anyway, which is interesting, but it's not the same as watching it. I think super interesting. It'll be interesting to see where it goes.
We had, did you see any of like the Siberian Power Show?
No, I mean, I saw whatever Jordan posted, I saw. That's about all I saw of it. I did see like the final stage was really cool. Like, and looked like a great production. Did you watch any of it? Like,
yeah, because they had like both days live streamed. Yeah. Just on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's kind of like their Arnold's Olympia type thing in Russia.
So it's big.
Yeah, it has bodybuilding and like it's a massive.
Yeah, I saw like arm wrestling. Theo Maddox was there benching and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like their big show. Very cool comp. Like really strong Russian guys. Like, you know, we talk about these are the top people in the world. And there's always someone else.
I know, we always say this. It's like, these are the best guys in the world. But in Soviet Russia, we are not allowed in America or any other country. But I am the strongest man in the world. Like the Iranians. Like you go to the Iranians pulling like 505 and stuff. And it was like, and there's 20 guys around him just fucking yelling at him. And he's got like the fucking bandaged knees and shit. But it's like, they're legit fucked. Like they're so strong, you know?
Yeah, there was a big Iranian guy, but he had a terrible comp.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I don't know if he was broken, but he was huge. Like Thor's height.
Yeah.
The guy that came third, and I can't remember his name, he was a Russian. He tied with Thor overall. And I don't know how Thor ended up getting the win.
Yeah. It's like, and you'll never see him as the world's strongest man. You'll never see him.
But he wasn't even big.
Yeah, no.
Would have been like 130 kilos.
Yeah, there's some 110 guys that I watch that are just fucking wild.
Yeah, there was the other Russian guy. He's got like dreadlocks. He tore his hamstring on the deadlift on the first event.
Yeah, okay.
And like he hobbled out like he can't walk. He finished the comp. That was his first event. He hobbled out to do like the dumbbells, like the little sear dumbbells. Yeah. And he stands like split stance because he can't obviously
bend down to it, yeah.
Picks it up, barely gets it to his shoulder, and he did that for like 3 dumbbells. He got up to like 130 or 125. Sandbag throw, he did like a split stance.
Yeah.
And got like 2 sandbags over.
That's impressive.
Yeah, with like a busted hamstring. And I'm like, he's done. He's got to be tapped out. Yeah. Stone to shoulder. Hobbles out.
No, stone to shoulders, that's low, bro.
He gets it like up to his shoulder and then I think he just fumbles it and drops it and then calls it.
Done.
But he got it to his shoulder. That's and impressive. A lot of those guys did not.
No. That's
and he's got one hamstring.
Super impressive. Because like when I did mine, I had to like the block, like I just physically couldn't get down to the block to pick it up. So I would have to like raise the block onto like, you know, there's a couple times or something like quite high because I could do it, but I just couldn't get down. I just could physically not get down to the ground. To get down under a stone with a torn hamstring.
Yeah, he walked out and you just see him hobble out like he's fully screwed and then gets under the yoke, carries the yoke, carries like the cross carry, all this stuff that he should not be doing and actually did really
reasonably consider.
If he wasn't injured, he probably would have had a good crack at like second, third.
Man, when I went to like Ukraine the first year, there was a 105 who pressed like a 130 dumbbell. At the time, Dimitar had the record at like 140 something.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's super fucking strong. But like that was 7 years ago. You know what I mean? Like that was so fucking strong back there. Like there's just people in different like Iran, Russia and stuff like that particularly, but also in like Eastern Europe and like Ukraine and stuff. Guys that are so strong that will never go to OSG. You know, like Primoslav didn't do really well at OSG, but he's always like right at the top over there. Now, you've got guys over there that have been in their prime that will not or be able to afford to go to America. America's really expensive to go to now, but like you'll never know. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those things where like OSG's 80%, 90% Americans. Do you know what I mean? Like, because it's expensive over there. So until it moves, it'll be interesting to see. But like, that's why we've always said like, you've got worlds, American worlds, and you've got European worlds. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you can win both, fucking great.
Yeah, there's still a big separation.
Especially when it was prime. Like, I feel like, unfortunately, because of the situation overseas, Ultimate Strongman's definitely dropped. There's like the standard. Like, I mean, the competitive standard was still fine, but definitely dropped the overall standard. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, but yeah, look, I think, there's always someone. There's always someone.
Yeah.
Who's stronger somewhere. To tie with Thor is huge.
Yeah.
Hobbyists, you sort of very clean segue.
That guy clearly doesn't do it as a hobby.
Hobbyists.
Yeah, hobbyists. I had a conversation, obviously a bit of a post. I didn't see this, but talking about, and there was a apology for a poor performance, which I find interesting, full stop. But sort of talking about strongman as a hobby from what we would consider as close to some of our close to professional athletes, right? Like pretty damn close to professional athlete, right? As good as it gets in strongman, really, right? Talk us through your opinions here, sir. Give me the lowdown. Put your foot in the shit, please.
I do that all the time. I did that like a couple of months ago. What's his name in the UK? Strongman psychologist.
Oh, yeah.
He put up a post about it, like on the other side, like on that it's not a hobby type of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the word hobby is, like, by definition, is something that you do in your leisure time for, like, pleasure.
Sure.
It's something that's relaxing. It's something that's fun. It's something that you do, like, as a fun outlet.
I can tell you the way that I do strongman is not pleasurable.
No.
I don't know any other way.
No. So I think
self-hate and loathing.
Yeah. It's definitely not a hobby.
No, not at all.
Fun pastime.
Yeah.
Probably not a hobby.
I do love it.
Yeah. So I don't know. to me, I see a hobby as something that is done for fun. It's people do stamp collecting, people do like fun things at home.
Yeah.
Or they watch TV, or like they play.
Yeah, they binge TV shows or play music.
They might even play a little bit of sport, but you know, they go down to the tennis courts and like play a bit of tennis one day a week. If you're there training to play tennis.
If you're training 4 hours a week for a game, or 6 hours
if
a
you're
week
at the
for a
tennis
game,
courts 4 nights a week and you're fucking trying, you're going for it, or you actually invest in a coach to help you play tennis. I don't know if it's just kind of
a nutrition coach. And what would you say the average time that a hobbyist, what's the average time that you think someone who trains for strongman and competes in strongman at any level, intermediate all the way through to worlds, what do you think the average time sink just to training is?
At the minimum, like 8 hours.
Yeah, I would say 6 to 8 hours.
That was, you walk in the gym 2 hours, 4 days a week.
Yeah.
In and out of the gym in 2 hours, which most people don't.
I think they should, but I think most people fuck around too much. But
maybe the ones that are hobbyists do fuck around too much.
100%. But like then you've got maybe like some cardio and stuff, zone 2 stuff throughout the week. You're looking after your food. You're paying a coach. You're paying like a nutrition coach, maybe. But like you're talking about maybe 6 to 8 hours a week for, let's say just 10 weeks. So 80 hours of time investment for one day.
Yep.
For a game day. Right now, if I'm a hobbyist and I'm playing resis and I'm rocking up on a Saturday to play for 2 hours and I knock off for beers with the boys, maybe I'm a hobbyist football player. Maybe I'm just like a social football player, right? But if I'm training for 8 hours for football for the Saturday game, I'm probably not a hobbyist anymore, am I?
No, I'd say you're competing in a sport.
I'd say taking it pretty damn serious for someone who wants to drink beers after the game.
You're competing in a sport and you're competing to win.
Yes,
you're competing to do well and push yourself 100%. And do better.
And I don't think that matters if you're intermediate. I don't think that matters what level you compete at. Because if you take it seriously enough,
it matters with the money side of things either.
Well, no one makes fucking like there's 5% of our. I've been doing strongman for 10 years, and I have done probably 8 international competitions, 5 world championships or something like that, 6 maybe. Podiumed at a bunch. I would not have made 10 grand in prize money.
No.
And I've done 60 comps and won Australia's Strongest Man fucking 5 times in the 105s. I would not have tipped over 10 grand in prize money in 10 years.
Yep.
Am I a hobbyist? No.
I'm like waiting.
I'm like, am I now?
Am I
But like, if I'm throwing my belt and I'm sacrificing my health and well-being to fucking win, I'm not a hobbyist. Like, if I'm spending 2 hours in the gym where I could be doing something else, like I'm not a hobbyist. If I pay out of my own pocket to go overseas to compete, it's like, well, you're not a professional athlete because you're not getting paid. No one gets fucking paid in our sport. If you're training for worlds, you're not a hobbyist. You're an athlete. Like, it's just that we choose a dumb sport to be an athlete in.
I guess I relate it back to like the Olympics. There's Olympic Games athletes that don't get paid.
No.
That go and win like gold medals and stuff like that. Certain sports definitely don't get funding or get paid.
No, they might get a little bit of funding. They might get like 20 grand. Like even in Australia, the funding for like, because Olympics is supposed to be like an amateur. Do you know what I mean? Like there's no higher level of competition for a lot of sports, but it's like for a lot of sports, like you might get 30 grand a year.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you're lucky. A lot of athletes are self-funded. If you're not a cool sport, you're completely self-funded and you probably don't get sponsorships. If you're not running 100 meters, like, or swimming in Australia, you're not getting shit, you know?
But there'd be a lot of countries where they wouldn't get paid enough to like survive on.
No.
Or at all.
No.
There'd be people that have won or gotten bronze medals in the Olympics that technically are a hobbyist by definition.
Working a full-time job and training afterwards. Do you know what I mean? And let's, like, people go like, oh, well, like, and like one, you're also not a, like, it's our job. Like, I run a gym. I'm a full-time coach. You're a full-time coach. Like, that's, our job is strongman.
Yep.
Right? So we don't get paid competing, but it is part and parcel of what we do. It's intertwined with what we do, right? But before it was intertwined with what we do, we work jobs.
Still wasn't a hobbyist.
Yeah, still wasn't a hobbyist, you know. Like we still pay to go do stuff.
Yep.
And now we go pay to go to other comps that our clients are doing. Do you know what I mean? Like they don't pay us to go do that. You know what I mean? So like regardless, I think that like, yeah, if you take it seriously enough, or take anything seriously enough, if you're at a certain, maybe a certain level, but also just like the intent which you do something is serious. I don't think you can say like, it's just a hobby. I think it's demeaning for people to say it's just a hobby.
Yeah, I think it's a good cop out to be like, oh, but I'm not very good. Like I don't, and I think it's also like limiting. It's really self-limiting.
Yeah.
If you're like, no, I just do it as a hobby.
Yeah.
It's an easy out to be like, well, I'm not as good as that person because I don't dedicate as much time.
Yeah.
It's just a hobby for me. I think, how many hobbies have made people cry?
Yeah. Yeah, like
how many people have got hobbies that they do for like leisure and like fun that make them cry?
Probably a few.
Because a lot of people cry in all sorts of competitive sports, whether they win or lose.
Yeah,
because
100%.
the emotional attachment is so strong.
Because you care. Because it's not just a relaxed hobby.
I go do wood carving if I want to do a hobby, and I wouldn't throw it at a wall and cry when I don't like do it right.
I'd find a way.
Turn everything in. But if you do it well enough, and you're quite good at
satisfaction,
there's going to be a competition for that somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then it's no longer a hobby.
I saw the other day. There's like a there's beard competitions, like beard growing competitions and mustache things.
Yeah.
So if they get paid for that and they're really good at manicuring their beard and growing their beard, are they a competitive athlete? Are they out of the hobbyist realm?
Competitive groomer. That's probably
Hopefully not. That's a very different sport. They probably have beards as well, though. Yeah. They probably have twirly mustaches.
Honestly, I see you going, like, they're the same people.
Yeah, they have twirly mustaches. So, but yeah, there's so many. Have you gone through KO and just looked at like
so many niche
what sports
so
are on
much
there?
niche shit. Yeah.
And just how much like coverage they get.
Yep.
There's also there's like corgi races where people race their corgi dogs, and it gets a crowd. And they have commentators and they talk about their dogs.
Yeah, 100%. There's a whole bunch of weird shit out there. Yeah.
There's a long jump for dogs.
I saw yesterday the weirdest sport I've ever seen. It was the sperm racing championships.
Sperm racing, like under a
that's a niche I have not got
under
into.
a microscope.
I'm putting mine up.
So what, people make bets?
I assume so. It was a massive crowd. I'll try and find the clip and I'll insert it into the thing. So I don't look like a
after
weirdo.
fostering another child where I did not think I could, I'm putting mine in the ring. Honestly, they're fucking superhuman.
Have you seen people bet on like the cars on a treadmill?
Oh, yeah.
They have like multiple cars or things set up on a treadmill and it's angled back and it just goes and everything like hits each other and falls off. But you bet on what's going to like stay.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, people race snails. So like,
race
frog, cane toads. Like,
but yeah, like there's so many sports out there that people actually do get paid that they wouldn't say is like a legit thing. So I think financially it's not a good like argument.
No, I think just like, I think the intent at which you do something dictates whether it's like a hobby. Like maybe, you know what, a hobbyist strongman might be someone who doesn't compete.
Yeah.
That might be my definition. Like if you compete at any level.
Yeah,
like,
if you go do jiu-jitsu down the road, but you never compete.
And you roll up and you just train you enjoy training and you're like a hobbyist. Like you like jiu-jitsu. You like training for jiu-jitsu, but you got no interest in like competing or whatever else. Then maybe. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe, but maybe the intent of what you do it is still like I train really fucking hard. Like I take it really seriously and I watch jiu-jitsu and stuff. Well, then are you like, maybe you're an extreme hobbyist, right?
Yeah.
But if you are competing, you throw your hang in the ring and you're going to meets all the time, well then you're a competitive athlete. Like
you are kind of a competitor.
Yeah, you're a competitor, not a hobbyist.
I think the argument came back to like people not enjoying themselves.
Yeah, sure.
And like you should have fun and it should be something fun that you enjoy doing. And it can
be fun, but you can be emotionally invested in it.
It sounds really nice on paper, but like what if some people just don't want to have fun?
Yeah.
It sounds dumb, but like, what if people are just like, I'm not in this for fun. I'm in this to be good.
For sure. Yeah,
and the fun part is winning.
Yes.
That's how they have fun, not just they get to goof off and have fun with people.
How fun is it really?
And it's an individual sport. So when People are like, you should just be at comps having fun with friends. And it's like, what if you don't like people?
Campy told me to smile once at a comp.
Campy with the finger guns and all the shit that he does.
We just got different ways to go about things, bro. Like, fuck off.
Yeah.
And like, God love him. He's like the happiest, smiliest, like well-intentioned person. But like, I had my headphones in, like focusing and ready to go. And he's like, just smile more. And I was like, it's just not how I fucking operate, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
say that to like most women anywhere.
Yeah.
And see how it goes down. You look so much better if you just smiled more. You know?
Just like,
Have fun.
I will have fun, but like, and I'll have fun between. I'll have fun afterwards at the after party. I'll be last man standing. No fucking worries. Like, trust me, I can have fun.
Are you a hobbyist?
You guys you guys can't keep up when it's fun time.
Yeah.
But like until then, like I got one way to do this, and this is how I do it. You know, and I don't. It's like I enjoy training, but I enjoy the struggle of training.
Yeah,
I
some
wouldn't
people
say
enjoy
it's fun.
suffering.
Yeah, like I wouldn't say it's fun, but I would say I was thinking about this the other day because it's fulfilling to like hit that spot. It's kind of the same thing I was saying at the start, but I was saying like even like the set of 260 where I was like I finished and I was like, whoa. Like I was like that's fun.
Yep.
Like being able to push to it, like getting to the point in your training where you can actually push things to a point where you're like fucking empty the tank and like smell some salt and just zone into like another fucking planet for a minute while you just kill yourself under a bar. That's the fun part.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm doing off-season stuff at the moment.
Yeah,
which
like
is I can walk in at my leisure and have fun and do things relaxing.
It's not fun.
No, I'm not having fun.
Not enjoyable. Do you know what I mean? There's no part
doing the work.
This might be why I break so much now, but like I haven't figured out how to do it enjoyably in any other way besides at the dial turn to 11. Do you know what I mean? Like
I just suffer in a different way.
Yeah.
I don't suffer under something like enjoyable, like lifting heavy. I just suffer because I'm not doing anything fun.
Yeah.
Doing the background work.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm like, all right.
And you have to.
In 6 months' time,
I'll be able to do the things.
Yeah, when I can do the things and do them better,
it's worth
I'll be happy I did this.
Yeah, and that's the process, right? That's suffering.
But it is all suffering.
And there's fun.
Comp preps is suffering, off season is suffering.
Yeah, it is fun. Like there are fun parts to it. I don't know how much fun I enjoy training. Like it's something that like it's my, like I was saying that I fucking hurt myself again, sick time. But like for the next 3 days, I just fucking did some hard cardio.
Yep.
Like I'm like, it's my personality too, but like I get a bit fucking like I need twitchy if I don't like, empty the tank, empty the reserves a little bit, you know. So yeah, I think like I don't know how fun or enjoyable. Like I enjoy competing, I enjoy training, and it's something that I'll do for my entire life and existence. But I wouldn't say I'm there to go have fun. I'm there to go do the thing. And when I enjoy it the most is when the thing is like that state that we're talking about, or it's hard and you overcome, and there's satisfaction in doing something hard and overcoming that hard thing and succeeding in overcoming that hard thing. That is enjoyable in its own way. But I wouldn't say fun is the word that I would use.
No, I think the enjoyable and fun part about comps is where they get to like hang out with everyone else.
Yeah.
Then it's probably the wrong sport because the actual lifting and the sport's not the enjoyable fun part. The fun part's just hanging out.
Yeah.
And you can go do that anywhere.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. It's good to hang out and do a like-minded thing with like-minded people though too. I do see the value in like, I do see like it being fun going to like a mid-level comp and fucking like a Cam Taylor. I see what he does as fun. Do you know what I mean? Like he goes in, throws down the hat. Like
Are you saying Cam's a hobbyist?
Closer to a hobbyist.
To be honest, he jumps in powerlifting, he jumps in weightlifting, he jumps in strongman.
He's a competitive strength athlete.
AFL.
Yeah, he's a competitive strength athlete, but he is a bit more of a like hobbyist in terms of like even the way he approaches it, it's very non-specific.
Yep.
And he will jump into everything. And he's not attached to the outcome. He'll just go do it.
Yep.
And I like envy that a little bit because I have a hard time doing it and not being attached to the outcome.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? I would like to be able to like be like, yeah, I'll just go do a fucking powerlifting meet and total 700. Like sign up for a powerlifting meet, I want to go 900.
And if I don't, I'm not doing it. I'm going to do it or my knee's not going to let me.
Yeah. Do you think like that balance idea is overrated? Like the idea that it needs to be balanced, like that it shouldn't be all consuming? Or do you think it's just person dependent?
I think everyone's version of balance is different. And I think some of us just aren't balanced. You know what I mean? Like to tell someone
I know what you mean.
to tell someone that's really unbalanced to just like have a balanced life.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense because like them as a person, their personality is not balanced.
What's your definition of balance? Do you know what I mean? Like that's the other thing. Like everybody's got a different idea of what balance looks like, of what ideal balance is to them. You know, like we were talking about this before, and it's like, well, I feel like sometimes I get reasonable balance where it's like, you know, I'll start at work at 6 o'clock so I can be home at 5 o'clock. So there's like 11 hours between work and training every day, but I'm home at 5 o'clock and I get to spend the next 3-4 hours with my son every night. Yep. I can switch off and that's me balanced and I prep my food and I get up and go. But then the weekends are pretty, like, you know what I mean? Like there's some balance. And then sometimes when there's less comps and like maybe there's a little less work on, then maybe we'll fuck off for a month in a van. And I just try to minimize the amount of work because we're heading into a period where like you're the same as I am, not quite because of our work hours outside of this or different jobs, but I'm going into 30 days straight. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like this Monday is like every weekend's double day comps until the end of the month. Yep. I've got 30 days plus straight of work now. Yep. Right, that's it. It's me done. All right, see you later, family. I'll catch you.
That doesn't sound very balanced.
No, that's not. But then, you know, after that, like we'll look at going into the van and we'll go away for a couple of months and I'll get a bit more family time. And that's me doing the best I can to balance because I'm not a balance. Like I'm a balance in terms of do everything at 110%. And you know what I mean? That's balance for me.
Some people might stretch out your time frame in terms of balances in for the next 5 years. I'm basically going to work every single day. Yeah. So that in the next 5 years.
I'll take that time.
Yeah. Or some people
go away for a year. Yeah. And do the lap and stuff. Yeah.
So for 5 years, that doesn't look balanced. Yeah. But if you look at like long-term projections.
Yeah, for sure.
It could still be balanced. Like in my parents' day and age, like dad would just work 7 days a week. But now they're retired, comfy and can do whatever they want and they have spending money.
Yeah, they're getting on the back end, right? They get
And that generation was all about that.
That's exactly what it was.
That was long-term suffering, payoff at the end, like super.
Yeah, get it all down, put the super in,
houses,
retire, go do your thing, right?
Whereas most of us now is like,
we want a bit of all of it at once, right?
We want all of it at once, and most of us are like, oh, if I don't make it to 60, I don't really care.
You were talking earlier about like the idea of balance now, where it's like, well, you've got 3 kids and you just work 5 days a week, and you get up at 7, you go to work at 8:30, you get home at 6 o'clock. You do that 5 days a week. You get home, you watch some Netflix with your partner, and you go to bed. Like that's their idea of balance. Like I live a balanced life. I work 5 days a week. It's like that to me. That's like
they don't have a hobby.
They don't have a hobby. You know what I mean? All their time is invested in just like the family, and like maybe family is their love in life, and that's what they really enjoy doing and find fulfillment in. But like maybe they don't have that hobby or like drive outside of that element. You know what I mean? So balance, schmalance. You know what I mean? Balance is individual. And
I just think it's a bad thing for one person to be like, you should have balance and like preach it to everyone else because everyone's going to be different.
I preach that it's important to, I've always said this and I've been quoted this many times.
Balance.
We talked about the plant other roses in your garden outside of Strongman. I do think it's important. I don't think that any of us will have this for our entire lives. Like my body will not be able to do this forever at this level. Right? I will be able to strength train for my entire life, but I might need some other things to fill some of the holes. Do you know what I mean? As well. And I think that's important for people, but not everybody. I don't think everyone needs to have balance. I think that like if this is the one thing you want to do and you want to sink your entire life and it gives you purpose and enjoyment, having that intense focused purpose might not be my idea of happiness, but it might be your idea of happiness and what you want to achieve and what you want to invest your energy into, and seeing that pay off bit by bit over the years' investments is what's bringing you fulfillment. Then fucking power to you.
Well, if you look at like an extreme end of like, say, like Eddie Hall, didn't have balance, worked himself to the ground, wasn't at home, wasn't with, I think, a newborn potentially. Won worlds, did the deadlift record, and then hung it up. Can't do this forever.
Does seem to be away from his family still quite a lot doing.
Yes, it seems very contradictory in that sense, yes.
I will say that.
But the initial idea was never like, okay, the sport's not going to be here forever. I need balance. It was like, I can't do this sport forever. no balance. I'm going to tick everything off that I need to tick off and then walk away.
And also another person who to do the sport, how he was doing it, like had a shelf life and death.
Yeah.
You know, like that's how it was. So
that's his balance essentially, was just like that part of my life done, ticked off. I squeezed it into 3 years because I wouldn't have been alive for another 3 years.
I got it done, tick a box.
Yep.
And now I'm moving on.
So
interesting conversations.
Yeah, which like I don't think a one size fits all.
I just don't think one size fits all. I think it's okay.
No.
Do you, boo, you know?
Yeah.
Like if you want it to be all consuming, great.
Yeah, if you want to hate life for a while and you kind of enjoy that.
That's a phase of life you're going through. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see you on the other end. Maybe we won't.
Yep.
Like that's okay.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, I like having purpose.
Yeah.
With whatever I do. I was watching bouldering last night and I think that could be my thing.
Yeah. You're short.
Like, you know.
And heavy.
I know.
You could be the boulder.
No, so that's kind of the point was if I'm done with strongman and everyone's like, oh, what would you do next? If I went and tried powerlifting, I'm kind of good enough at it where it starts to become competitive again. And I'm like, oh, I could really do well. Or if it was arm wrestling, I'm going to hurt my arm because I'm going to get really competitive.
Fords on to me every fucking week.
Everyone that goes and does jiu-jitsu like smashes their ankle or their knee or something because they're strong, so they're kind of good. So then it becomes the new competition.
You like bouldering. It's a puzzle.
Bouldering, yeah, I've got short arms. I can't reach my legs up very far. I can't get close to the wall because I'm too thick. I'm just really heavy. Nothing about that says I'm going to be competitive. So I can just do it for fun and accept that
I'm just not.
I'm not going to be competitive.
Yeah, but I'll enjoy it. I want to enjoy the puzzle of it. And
if I somehow get good and my grip strength improves and then I go on a crash diet and lose 30 kilos so I can be competitive, then I'm stuck in.
Start bouldering, man. You might end up fucking camping out near a fucking boulder for 10 months.
Yeah. Then
making routes and losing 30 kilos.
Suddenly I'm on a podcast talking about bouldering. And that's balance. You know, I did strength training and now I'm climbing shit.
Invested in this,
But that would be something that I'd pick to be like, I'm so not built for this that I can probably do it for fun because I'll just accept the fact that I'm never going to be good at this.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Food for thought, and we'll leave you with that. So ASM coming up, World's Strongest Man coming up, Natty's coming up. And look, we love to hear your thoughts. If you've enjoyed that conversation around balance, hobbyists, if you've got questions, feel free to hit us up on our social medias, and we're always happy to engage in a conversation or just comment on our reels because it's great for engagement. We love an argument.
Love one. Love a discussion. Heated discussion.
Yeah. We'll see you next time on the Strongman Say podcast. Thank you for tuning in and enjoy training.